I'm Zach Farnum, and this is Music City Live. We're here in Nashville, Tennessee. You got the skyline right back there. I love this spot. And I am here with the wonderful Mary Sarah.
Hello.
How are you?
Good, how are you?
So good to see you.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. Thank you for being here.
Oh, gosh.
Straight off the Mike Huckabee show.
Yes.
How was that?
It was amazing, especially to go to New York. I'm a big fan of New York, so I got to spend a week in New York, and that was one of the things I got to do, and it was very exciting.
That's awesome. Well, I am proudly wearing Mary Sarah.
He's a Mary Sarah
headgear.
warrior.
I just made this headgear. So go get it and then do this and like hashtag Farnum something and trend it. Make it trend.
We're going to trend
Is that
on
a
Twitter.
thing? What's the terminology here? I don't know.
It's a hashtag, and we're going to trend on Twitter, so
Okay.
you said it right.
Let's trend.
Right.
Farnum, I don't care what you want to call it. Just trend it. I'm not going to wear this for the rest of the interview. Although I am going to wear it everywhere else.
Oh, well, thank you.
It's
Just
too
like
hot
that?
in here.
Just
like that. So, dang, this album right here is Mary Sarah's newest album called Bridges, featuring Dolly Parton, Willie Nelson, Ray Price, Merle Haggard, Lynn Anderson, Tanya Tucker, the Oak Ridge Boys, Vince Gill, Ronnie Millsap, Neil Sedaka, and more.
And more.
Whew, that's a mouthful.
Yeah.
What was that like, recording? She's got all of those guys' biggest hits are recorded with Mary Sarah on this album.
It was, gosh, a one in a million experience, really. I am so blessed and honored to have sang with all of those legends because I grew up in Texas and I sang in the Opries. And the start of this project really was, I was always asked, do you have any music? Do you have any songs? And, have you recorded any, Dolly stuff or things like that? And I said, well, no, but you know what? That's a good idea. Let's start something together. And that's really, what it turned out to be. We never expected it to be that, but it's turned out to be something absolutely amazing. So I'm very blessed.
That's cool. And the cover art is all Hatch show print,
yes,
which is
love
here in
Hatch.
Nashville. And if you don't know about it, you need to know about it because it's pretty freaking awesome.
It's actually connected to the Country Music Hall of Fame now.
Yes,
So you can
that's
go,
right.
and
they have
see.
a tour and all that?
Yes, it's very cool. They do it just the way they did it originally, same way, roll it. I mean, it's a process. It's really cool to see. But
cool.
The idea for that, my dad was like, those Hatch show print bills, see them everywhere. And I really, I didn't want to have, my photo on the front or do, like some type of thing like that. And I said, when he brought that to me, I said, that is perfect. And so we took it into Hatch Show Prints, and Selene, the girl there, said, we'll get this done for you. And they came out with that. And the crazy thing is this bridge right here. They did not have a bridge. No one ever had asked for a bridge in the years that they have been doing this. And so when they made it, they named it the Mary Sarah Bridge. So anybody else who uses a bridge, it's the Mary Sarah Bridge.
I think you can get custom Hatch show prints made, so get a Mary Sarah bridge on that.
Yes.
And then tweet that to us, too.
Hashtag it, too.
That's so
Yes.
cool. So you've got, oh gosh, we could talk about all these guys forever, but
Yeah.
what is it? You love traditional country music?
I do.
That's so cool.
I grew up actually listening to Christian music. My parents pastored a church for about 5 years, and so that was what I grew up in. And then slowly, as I went into high school, I was introduced to country music, and my dad introduced me to Patsy Cline. And the song "Crazy," to be exact, which I did with Willie on there.
Because Willie wrote it.
Yes, Willie
Remember
wrote
that.
it, and I fell in love. And I think, a lot of my influences were Tammy Wynette and Patsy Cline, especially vocally, because I do love the powerhouse singing and strong vocals. And so that was who I was introduced to. And then slowly but surely, I started in the Opries in Texas, and more, I just fell in love with it.
And then you met the Oak Ridge Boys.
Then I met the Oak Ridge Boys. I did, and that was crazy because they actually found me on Twitter. 4 years ago.
Twitter is the thing.
Twitter might be the thing tonight. But they found me, 4 years ago, even, before we started the project. And Joe Bonsall actually tweeted me and said, hey, I know you live in Houston. Why don't you come down to Galveston for one of our shows? And of course, like, actually, at first I was like, is this actually the Oak Ridge Boys? Because I don't know if this is real or not, if they're asking me to come see their show. So of course I verified it and everything, and I went down there with my family, and I ended up at dinner sitting with the boys, and it was right before their show, and Joe said, do you know anything a cappella? And I had been singing Where the Boys Are by Connie Francis for a long time, and it was just something I'd sing around the house, so, I was like, okay, let me get up and sing real quick at dinner. So I start to stand up, and he goes, no, I mean, I want you to sing on the show tonight.
What?
And I was 15 at the time, and I was freaking out. I was like, there's no way. I mean, he saw my YouTube videos, had never heard me live, and asked me to sing that night on the show. And that was a big, door opener too, because we sent that video, getting to sing Where the Boys Are with the Oak Ridge Boys on stage. And their sold out show in Galveston was like, just speechless.
It all began.
There it all began, really.
And now we're at this.
Now we're here.
Which still amazes me. I was listening to it on the way in today, and it was just like, and I told you earlier, I watched a video of you singing with Willie Nelson live. This is one thing, recording's super awesome, but live with Willie Nelson?
That was probably the most nerve-wracking thing I've ever done in my life, because I was behind the stage, and I remember pretty much, I was almost hyperventilating. I was thinking about it, and I'm like, am I having a panic attack right now because I'm about to sing with Willie Nelson on stage? And but I went out there and did it and came off, and he was a gentleman. I mean, he was absolutely amazing for letting me come up there too. It was his July 4th bash.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
that's
so
awesome.
they do that at Billy Bob's in Texas, and so it was quite an experience. It was amazing.
Have you performed at Billy Bob's other than that?
I haven't.
Gotta get there.
I
I've never been, but I've heard so much about it.
It's very cool. It is very cool. I've been, but haven't gotten to perform.
Well,
so.
Where she has performed is on the Ryman Auditorium stage.
I did.
The original home of the Grand Ole Opry.
Yes.
That's pretty awesome.
I did. I got to sing for a Ray Price tribute because I got to sing with Ray on the project. They called me up and said, we're doing a tribute to Ray, and the Oak Ridge Boys and Lynn Anderson, who both are on the project with me, were on there that night, and including Larry Gatlin. And we got to sing a couple of Ray songs. I got to sing Heartaches by the Number, and then I sang Crazy by Patsy. So that was truly an amazing experience. I mean, I just remember arriving and going to the dressing room, and I just started crying. I mean, tears just started flowing from my eyes, and I don't think they stopped. It was hard to stop them the whole night because it was very surreal, I think, you know, because it was something I always imagined doing. So it was
That's
surreal.
awesome. Well, you just said you performed Heartaches, and of course you sang Heartaches with Ray before he passed away. We miss him dearly.
We do.
So last week we showed you and Miss Jan Howard, legend, Opry legend, singing Heartaches together.
Which is amazing. She is a doll, and I love her.
Well, let's go back. Let's show them that right now. So take a second to watch this, but we'll be right back with more Mary Sarah.
Notes. Heartache number one was when you left me. I never knew that I could hurt this way. And heartache number two was when you came back again. You came back but never meant to stay. Now I've got heartaches by the numbers, troubles by the score. Every day you love me less, each day I love you more. Yes, I've got heartaches by the numbers, a love that I can't win. But the day that I stop counting, that's the day my world will end. Heartache number three was when you called me. and said that you were coming back to stay. With a hopeful heart I waited for your knock on the door. I waited, but you must have lost your way. Now I've got heartaches by the numbers, troubles by the score. Every day you love me less, each day I love you more. Yes, I've got heartaches by the numbers, a love that I can't win. But the day that I stop counting, that's the day my world will end. Hey!
Wasn't that awesome? Go back and watch it again. No, watch it again after. And you can find it on our YouTube page somewhere. Find it over there. I don't know. But thank you for doing that. That was.
Oh yes, I thank you for letting me do that, and thank you to Jan for singing with me, because that was truly something I will remember and have a video of for the rest of my life.
That's great.
Yeah.
All right. Well, what was? Give me a moment that stood out in the studio doing this.
I think there were a lot of moments.
Yeah.
There were a lot of moments, and I just remember a lot of it was being really nervous because going into the studio with Dolly Parton and Willie and Merle and just a lot of them. It was very surreal to walk in there and see my idols, and I think one big one was definitely Ray Price.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just remember going into the studio that day. I think he was either 3 or 4, the 4th person on the project to come. And I remember standing in the studio in the back, and he comes through the back door, of course, because he's Ray Price. He pulls up in his bus. I mean, this is like the full shebang going on here. He pulls up in his bus, so I'm already freaking out. I'm like, he's gonna walk in here any moment, and what do I say? What do I do? And so I'm so nervous, and I can tell, I think all of us in the room were really nervous. And he comes in, though, and has this presence about him that I think calmed everybody's nerves.
Yeah.
In a way, he really made you feel like you had been friends with him for years and years, and that you were, not just anybody. And I got to, get to hug him and talk with him and take photos. And he went in and sang the song just 3 times through, and said, I think that's all you need. And I told him, I was like, I think the first one was good enough for me. It was absolutely amazing. And so that's an experience I really will never forget.
That's great.
And I was actually told that he used to play our song on the bus all the time. And it was one of his favorite duets. So,
wow.
Which is very cool to get to hear.
You'd sing a lot of duets, I'm sure.
Yeah, right?
So you're executive producer on this, Freddie Powers. What a legend.
Legend, yes, himself. I met Freddie, we had Dolly on the project, and I met Freddie right after that.
Okay.
And he actually has stage 4 Parkinson's. And it's kind of, him coming onto the project, it was really his last, putting his all into this last project. And I always say, I was the lucky girl to sing, with all these people, because, I couldn't have done this by myself. We had a team of people. And so I'm reading, it's amazing how much I read more and more about him too, because he is an amazing man. I mean, the things he's done over the years, not just in music, but throughout the years with Merle and Willie, and lived on a houseboat with Willie and Merle for God knows how long on Lake Shasta.
Interesting.
I mean, yeah, just he is absolutely amazing, and for him to help me on this project, and his wife Catherine, shout out to Catherine, because she is a warrior herself for everything she's gone through, and so they're a blessing, and that's why he's the executive producer on the project, because I couldn't have done it without him.
That's great. Well, let's take a break, and then when we come back, you want to perform a couple songs for us?
I would love to. I would love to.
Cool. We'll be right back. Hey, we're back on Music City Live with Miss Mary Sarah. She's going to perform a couple songs for us now. One's off her new album, Bridges, which you can buy in stores and on iTunes right now, right after you watch this. And the other one, original?
Is an original.
I'm excited.
I'm excited.
Enjoy.
When I die, I may not go to heaven. Well, I don't know if they let cowboys in. If they don't, just let me go to Texas, yeah. Texas is as close as I've been. Well, New York couldn't hold my attention. Detroit City couldn't sing my song. If tomorrow finds me busted flat in Dallas, I won't care, 'cause at least I'll know I'm home. When I die, well, I may not go to heaven. I don't know if they let cowboys in. If they don't, just let me go to Texas, yeah. Texas is as close as I've been. Well, I'd ride through all hell in half of Texas just to hear Willie and Ray sing a country song. Well, the beer just ain't as cold in North Milwaukee. My body's here, but my soul's in San Antone. When I die, well, I may not go to heaven. I don't know if they let cowboys in. If they don't, just let me go to Texas, yeah. Texas is as close as I've been. We're gonna break it down. When I die, I may not go to heaven. Well, I don't know if they let cowboys in. If they don't, just let me go to Texas, y'all. Texas is as close as I've been. When I die, well, I may not go to heaven. Texas is as close as I've been. Saw on the news about a pastor in a Texas town. That twister took his church and left nothing but a cross and a flag. He said Sunday service will be outside. We get those calls at 3 a.m. like a punch in the gut. Just saw him yesterday, man. Is he really gone? All we can do is say, God, why? But we move on, one shaky step at a time, blinking through the tears while we try to stay strong. And we reach out to find another hand in the dark. Hold on when it gets too hard to go it alone. We break down, we look up, and we move on. Yeah, I think about this friend who thought she had enough. Heartbreaks and bruises makes it hard to trust. There's times we all wanna give up on love, but we move on, one shaky step at a time, blinking through the tears while we try to stay strong. And we reach out to find another hand in the dark. Hold on when it gets too hard to go it alone. We break down, we look up, and we move on. When hard times go,
Mary Sarah. Wow, that was good.
Thank
We don't have enough country females right now in the genre, I don't think, and I think you're the next big one. So
Thank you so much.
thank you for being
That
here.
is a huge compliment.
Now, the first song you did with Tanya Tucker
Yes.
on
we
the
did.
album, and the album is called Bridges, and you can find it online now on iTunes and on in stores everywhere. Amazon.
Yeah, everywhere.
Where can we find you on the web?
You can go to marysarah.com, and that'll take you to most of my social media. But if you want to find me just on Twitter, it's Mary Sarah Music, Sarah with an H. And on my Facebook, it's just Mary Sarah. So if you look me up, and if you tweet me, I will definitely tweet back. So hit me up.
I think that's how we met originally.
We
was
did,
Twitter.
yeah.
Twitter's
we did.
the
It's
thing tonight.
it really is. So.
Well, thank you for being here, and
Thank
we'll
you.
see you again soon.
Well,
Okay.
thank you for having me.
You're watching Music City Live with Zach Farnum and my guest Mary Sarah.